right, so radiation, and what do you expect from radiation? Well, in my particular case, the doctor suggested that I do radiation for 3 months. As I said before, the chemotherapy actually got rid of the tumors after my last PET scan, gallium scan. There was no sign of the tumors at all. There was no sign of it anywhere else in my body, but the doctor really wanted to make sure that I was cured. So we did radiation. Well, what is radiation? You know, everyone says, oh, great, if you got radiation, that's so much better than chemo. Or not. Radiation was much harder for me than chemotherapy. I was ready for the effects of chemotherapy. Everybody talks about that. Everybody knows what to expect. So let me tell you what to expect with radiation when it comes to lymphoma. And again, lymphoma and leukemia are systemic. They're in your whole body. They're in all of your lymph nodes. They're blood cancers, so they travel everywhere. So when they do the treatments, they have to make sure that they treat the whole body. And in my particular case, since my tumors were above the diaphragm, it was the full top half of my body. I got radiation from the tip of my chin to just underneath my breastplate. And how do I know that? Well, I have these cute little tattoos everywhere. The first treatment or the first day of radiation, they lay you down for 2 hours and they plan out exactly where they're going to do the radiation for the next 3 months. You can't move. You can't do anything. You have to make sure that they have all of the exact places, because once you have radiation there, you can never have it again. We laughed because my tattoos were the first tattoos I had ever had. So this was the smallest tattoo of the world. And this was the smallest tattoo of a garden. And this one was, well, you get the idea. They're all over my body. So if I'm ever unconscious, they'll know. No radiation in those areas. And I'll have them forever. And there's nothing better than the idea of playing connect the dots with radiation tattoos. Not. So after they set you for 2 hours of not being able to move or breathe or anything, the next day you come in for your first treatment of radiation. Which isn't that bad. You lay there for 30 seconds, the machine zaps you, you can't sneeze or move, you gotta be exactly in the exact spot. They match up all the little dots with the connect the dots, and you move on. And the next day you come in again. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So you never forget you have cancer. Not that you could possibly ever forget, because it's always gonna be in the back of your mind. So, after the first 5 days, no big deal. After the first 10 days, I started to get a little red. And they said, you know, you might want to put some aloe on that. And I got this amazing tan that doesn't ever go away. My hair had started to grow back after chemo. And then slowly but surely, my hair all over here and the back of my head started to fall off. Well, after I got my tan job, 15th day of radiation, 20th day of radiation, 30th day of radiation, I can't swallow. I've got first and second degree burns all the way down my esophagus. It hurts to breathe. It hurts to swallow. And I know I've got 2 more months of doing this every single day. Eventually, I started puking again. It all came back. It was all like going through chemo again, and I had no control. And even though my friends and I tried to find the humor in it, it was really, really hard because I didn't expect this. I just thought, okay, I go in, they zap you, you go on your happy little way, everything will be fine, this is easy. And I got radiation poisoning. You know, you hear about Hiroshima, and you hear about 3 Mile Island, and these people that have these horrible things. Happens with radiation treatment too. I was so sick, and I was vomiting all the time. And honestly, truthfully, radiation was much worse than chemotherapy ever could have been. But eventually I got through it, and even though my friends, again, still didn't know what to do, we laughed. We'd be like, Most expensive tan and wax job ever, baby. Woohoo! Let's not even begin about what this is going to cost me. I had insurance. That's fantastic. It covered chemo. It covered being in the hospital. It covered the portacath. It covered radiation. And eventually, we were at the end of treatments. Thank God.